Oh, oh, well, how the hell y'all doing? Welcome, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Let's get the likes up. Let's get the likes up. Although we got a shadow ban, we ain't gonna let the powers that be stop us. We're coming in here. We're gonna make it hot tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I know I usually don't come on often in repeats like I typically normally do, but I'm live with y'all tonight, family. We're gonna get this thing popping. We're gonna get this thing popping, ladies and gentlemen. Smash up the lights. Smash up the likes. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Hit that notification bell. Smash up the likes. Let's get into it. What's up, Keating Rourke? Uh, y'all don't mind if I come on tonight. I'm actually just gonna appear behind the avatar. I had a very, very long day. I'm chillaxed in my in comfortable clothes. I don't want to get it. I've been in depots. I've been doing a lot of work. So if you don't mind, I'm just gonna appear off screen. But tonight, don't worry, I'm not gonna pull the Jason Black bullshit along. But you know, I'm not that much of a coward. I can appear on the screen. Anyway, let's get into it. I don't want to open up that room. How we doing tonight? We got Keating Rourke. I'm sure we're gonna get some up Emperor RX. You know, guys, with my legal stuff that is going on, I just want to say something. I noticed I had sent of course, some responses as well as some a copy of my petition to ScrewTube, and I noticed at least the minute I emailed a courtesy copy that on my normal channel, the main channel, GBoot2786, I noticed I had 10 subscribers at least dipped from my channel. So I had 1,600, now it was down to 1,590. And I don't think that was a coincidence that happened. But I will save that for later. I won't say too much more. At any rate, let's go ahead, ladies and gentlemen. We talking about it. We're going to get into what we need to get into. And tonight on our broadcast, it is a typical random topic Thursdays. And of course, we are still, Keating Rourke, I sued YouTube. That's what's happened. I won't say too much and get in particulars, but we've been fighting, and I have been fighting this censorship that's been going on with my channel. The lack of views, the lack of progress with the channel. It's not by accident that we've been held back, that I've been held back. So I've come on here to basically announce what I've been doing and that I'm challenging this stuff. And we have to challenge things like this because this is not something, especially when you're talking about a situation where you're demonetized and you're trying to make money, you're trying to better your life and the life of your family, and another person is over your head hurting you, harming you or preventing you from doing so on bullshit charges. And I'll say it, and if that gets me censored, fine, then I'm going to stand up to it, and I'm not going to let it slide. I don't want to talk too much about it, but that's how I feel, and that's something I wanted to bring up to you. Now, we got to do this. Well, let's get into it. We talking about some stuff now. It's February 13th, and we're already in the middle of February, and in 2 weeks, February is going to be gone. Now, it is Black History Month, And so I want to do a Black History Month moment. Of course, the last time I did a Black History Month moment, I did one on Berry Gordy, and I also did one on Sylvia Robinson. And tonight I'm going to do the Black History Month is for none other than Mr. Clyde Otis. Now, Black history should be 365, but we celebrate Black History Month to observe. The reason why we had that was because of Carter G. Woodson, because Black history was not being observed in the schools. And in some places, and even in colleges, it's still not being observed. And there are people that are willing to fight to get that stuff removed. Now, on September 11th, more than 100 years ago, Clyde Otis was born in Prentiss, Mississippi. And we're talking about Mr. Otis. I happen to know his son, who's a good friend of mine. Mr. Otis was one of the first African Americans to be an A&R executive for a major label. And that label was Mercury Records. Now, how Clyde Otis got his start, and he's a story that is of great inspiration, especially if you're a songwriter or producer trying to make it in the business, because this is someone, to my knowledge, who didn't have musical upbringing or didn't really have a musical upbringing of anything. But you're going to find out how he became involved in the music business in just a moment. Now, he, of course, Mr. Otis, born in Prentiss, Mississippi during hard times and segregation, and he served in the Marines during World War II. And while he was in the Marines in World War II, he got to know a gentleman by the name of Bobby Troup. Bobby Troup was a fellow Marine and a pianist, and he wrote the hit song "Get Your Kicks" on Route 66, which was a hit for Nat King Cole in the 1940s. I believe that was in 1946 when it was composed, and he released that album. And he was inspired after hearing about his fellow jarhead writing that song, that his first, while he was working in New York City as a taxi driver, he would moonlight as well as a songwriter. He had a songwriting collaborator, and they wrote a song called "That's All There Is to That." Well, according to the legend, is that one night, by chance, one of his cab fares happened to be going to a party that was thrown by Nat King Cole's music publisher. And he just so happened Mr. Otis just so happened decided to give this song, "That's All There Is to That," to Nat King Cole and to his music publisher. And the rest was history. And the song debuted at number 15 on the R&B charts and number 16 on the US pop in 1956. And so it's been covered a few times by other artists. But what's important about Clyde Otis is that that was a start in his career. And he wrote other songs for Nat King Cole with his collaborators, particularly Brook Benton and Belford Hendricks, such as "Looking Back." They also had other songs like "Kitty-O Endlessly," but a big song that he had that was released with his collaboration with Brook Benton was "It's Just a Matter of Time." Now, that song actually was supposed to be recorded by Nat King Cole, but Otis decided to give it to Nat King Cole, and they convinced him to let him being Benton record it first, because Benton had just been signed with Mercury Records and he wanted to make a big hit out of the song. And he did that, and the song debuted, I believe, at number 3 on the Billboard charts, while it topped the R&B charts for 9 weeks in the spring of 1959. And that was the start of Brook Benton's career. And they wrote other songs like "Endlessly," "Video," and others. The Boll Weevil song, "This Time of the Year," one of my favorite Christmas songs as well, that I love. Now, something very interesting I learned about Clyde Otis, especially when I talked to his son and reading his story. He wrote over 800 songs in his career, at least, and I've counted really close to 900, because he was a co-writer on some of those songs. And this is according to the BMI, which is Broadcast Music Inc. That's a music licensing organization, one of the major music licensing organizations. A lot of his songs, like "This Bit of Earth" and "Take a Look," have been recorded by a lot of artists. His songs have been recorded from the likes of Johnny Mathis to Elvis Presley, Aretha Franklin to Natalie Cole, Nat King Cole's daughter, Patty Page, and others. Sonny James, Charles Rich, who were country singers, and he produced songs for them. But importantly, he started his own music publishing company, Clyde Otis Music Group, after he left Mercury Records, and he actually relocated to Nashville, Tennessee, and was recording and producing sessions for country singers like Sonny James and Charlie Rich. Now, he faced threats, and most importantly for us that we should learn about Mr. Otis, he actually faced death, from what I heard, some threats. Some have said, according to one reporter, said he faced death threats, but he had threats from people, especially when he wanted to form his own music publishing company. And I'm sure he did, because if you have a catalog like a Brooke Benton's catalog that he was a collaborator on, those songs are very lucrative and they can bring him money, but also they can be passed on to the next generation. And so I think that a lot of that, the threats that he received, had to do with the fact that he was giving money, or he eventually could pass down generational wealth to his family. And so we've heard that story before when I've talked about other songwriters and artists. I've done a story about Otis Redding and Sam Cooke, James Brown, and a bunch of other people. Like my brother Ron Hurd said, nobody leaves the business. Nobody who in entertainment dies a clean death. But Mr. Otis ended up passing away at the age of 83 years old at his home in New Jersey. This was in Englewood, New Jersey. He was 83 years old, and he was survived by, sorry everybody, his wife, Lourdes, his two sons, Isidro and Clyde III, and two daughters, Annalisa and Sharon M. Broadus, and 5 grandchildren. So these are a list of just some of the songs, notable songs that he wrote. Don't You Think It's Time, Endlessly, I'm Too Far Gone, To Turn Around, Looking Back, The Stroll, Thank You Pretty Baby, This Bit of Earth, which was a hit for Dinah Washington, and others. So rest in power, Mr. Clyde Otis. This is our Black Music Moment, ladies and gentlemen. And if you go to the Clyde Otis Music Group, you can actually read a little bit more about Mr. Otis and some of the songs that he wrote. When you look even at these pictures they have at the bottom, these are they give updates, especially about the artists that Mr. Otis worked with, his history, and what he was able to accomplish there. Yeah, it's a very aspiring story, from someone to go from a taxi driver to an artist to across multiple genres and a business mogul. That is truly the American dream. That is why we say FBA all the way, Mr. Clyde Otis. So he is our Black Music Moment, and I'm posting it in the comment section. So there we go. So, all right. So let's talk about this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into it. I was supposed to talk about this on the other day. I'm sorry, Tuesday. I didn't get a chance to do it when I was talking about the Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl moment. But this is got to be, and I'm not trying to be mean. It may come off like that, but we have to stop feeding into the minds, or the madness, I should say, of delusional people. Now, I want y'all to look at this. Hold on. So, I'm not trying to be mean, but Dank DeMoss was on the Breakfast Club a few days ago, and you already know where I'm going with Phantom. Stop it! Don't get ahead of me. So she was on the Breakfast Clubs, and uh, she did a 33-minute interview to talk about her lawsuit, talk about what she was going through. Now, I'm gonna play some of it. I want y'all to hear it. I don't want to get a copyright strike. The Breakfast Club, they'll give that right quick. But she went on the show to talk about her lawsuit, her life and lifestyle. She brought her fitness coach in, who I think should be fired. But I wouldn't be talking about this girl if she didn't, and her attorney didn't try to make she didn't try to make obesity a civil rights issue. That's the only reason why I'm really talking about this. Martin Luther King would have a fit if someone were trying to make this a civil rights issue. Like her attorney said when he was being interviewed by NBC and CBS, saying turning down someone for their weight is almost similar, for not giving them a ride is similar to saying you don't want to give a ride to a Muslim person, someone who's a Christian, or someone who's a Muslim, or someone who's black. Nah, I'm gonna play it, but I want y'all to honestly look at this. She said she lost 80 pounds, but she also said she fit in cars with the part of the lawsuit. She fit in cars smaller than the car they had. Can you honestly think this could fit in a Yaris? Y'all think that you got two, you're walking around with like a sack of potatoes. Your legs looking like a sack of potatoes. And when a man refuses you a ride, which he offered to give you a call, a Uber XL for you, or a Lyft. I'm sorry, I said Uber Lyft. Uber XL. It was a Lyft XL. He offered to do it for you to accommodate you. And you talk about accommodations. Now, I want y'all to listen carefully. This was the Breakfast Club. That's enough of that. And she had an OnlyFans. Yeah, I hope it too. And she's only 27, 28 years old. What's going to happen when she turns 35? If she can make that, I hope she does. I want y'all to listen carefully. So she's on the Breakfast Club, and this is what she says. First thing she says, I want y'all to watch. So, fair use. I want to put. Listen carefully. So hold on. I'm gonna make sure I'm talking through it. They will give me a copyright strike. So what you're gonna hear? This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna play the audio. I'm gonna play the audio for y'all so you can't hear the picture. Sorry, but this is the first thing she says. Hold on.
Ass up in the morning. The Breakfast Club.
Peace, Big Day. How
Good
you?
morning.
You good?
Good morning.
What's going on? Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Look at
How are
this.
you?
Stormy.
Peace, King. How you, brother? You good? Nice to meet you, King.
Now her stomach, she's walking around like Bone Crusher. Her stomach all out. Her jacket can't cover her. That's the specialist. Now she gets in the chair. Now watch what happens.
Yep. It's the only seat y'all got?
What you want? What you need?
There's one
A
more.
bigger chair or something?
Cause she already little.
We had
That's what I'm talking about. Good. This is the accommodation.
there you go.
Oh,
Okay, right there.
what you want? What you need?
She asked, "This the only seat you got?" Now, these guys, Charlemagne and DJ Envy, just hilarious. They bring her on there. She does a 38-minute interview, and they would just spook. I don't know why or what the purpose of with doing it. Obviously, her case has garnished a lot of attention, but right there, she killed her case for me. I don't know why her attorney would allow her to go on the Breakfast Club and ask questions like this. Because right there by her she asked for a new chair for this the only chair you got. You asked for something bigger. Something you could have done that with your phone. Don't you think she could have done that with her phone? And you said, this is what I'm talking about, accommodations. You could have done that. You could have done it that night. You could have gotten a larger truck. We've seen video of you, ma'am, getting out of an SUV in the back. We've seen video of you sitting in the trunk of I don't know if it was a Suburban. It wasn't a Suburban, but we've seen video of her sitting in the back of a truck. Of a large SUV. And you honestly think she could have fit in that man's hoopty?
A bigger chair or something.
Cause she already little.
First thing she asked for, I need a bigger chair or something.
That's what I'm talking about. Good. This is the accommodation.
There you go.
Oh,
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Just Hilarious, Charlemagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Lola Rosa hanging out with us as well. We got a special guest in the building.
Who we got?
We have Big Dank DeMoss. Welcome.
Thank you.
How are you,
feeling?
Big Dank? How you feeling today?
I'm good.
Happy to have you.
Thank you.
You know, when we first heard
I'm listening to her even talk. Doesn't it? She sound like she's out of breath. I heard she even had to be wheelchaired in. According to reports, they had to bring her up in a wheelchair to the studio. This is somebody in their 20s. Now, you could have a thyroid problem. I don't doubt that she does. And I know a lot of, I have an underactive thyroid. I know what that means. Hypothyroidism or even hyperthyroidism, it functions, it's basically the thyroid is, and she mentions that through her fitness coach. I want to call her a fitness coach, but she mentions that earlier. Oh, she has a thyroid condition. First of all, people who have a thyroid condition, while it's true, it can affect and regulate like the heartbeat. It can regulate your metabolism. That doesn't change diet and exercise. I can still work out, even though I have a thyroid condition. And yes, it may be a little harder to lose weight and so forth. There are certain steps, certain things you can do. Now, to the young lady's credit, she said she lost 80 pounds or 89 pounds, and that's fine. Great. But what I see from here is there's a lack of accountability with this generation. This Gen Z, there's a reason why it's called Z. It's last. Where was her attorney? Her attorney didn't want to come. I mean, he seems like he's an attention whore. You comparing this to the civil rights, you comparing weight discrimination to being black. You call it weight discrimination. And the stuff that she says, and this is the part about a lack of accountability. I want y'all to listen carefully. Listen to this some more.
about your story, there was a lot of jokes made. Everybody made jokes, including us. But when I heard you was a rapper, I was like, why not have her up here and have a conversation? See if this could, I don't know, help something.
like
Right? Make the most of the moment.
exactly.
And that's what this was about, because once this incident happened and this went viral, everybody's talking about her, and she's getting publicity, Obviously, not for positive reasons. You look on the Breakfast Club's YouTube channel, Breakfast Club Power 105.1. It's got over 555,000 views in less than 3 days. There are 12,000 likes to 14,000 dislikes. There's a reason behind that, but listen carefully to what she says.
Absolutely.
Here.
Where you from?
Detroit.
Detroit. Tell us about. Well, no, this is your question. Go ahead.
Well,
No, this is what you do.
For people that don't know, a lot of people, of course, you're from Detroit. You're a rapper from Detroit, so you're highly known in Detroit in a lot of different places. But you got publicized recently because of an incident that you had with Lyft, the Lyft driver. You ordered a Lyft, and you could tell.
I want to go there. I just want to ask you. You always say for people who don't know who Big Dank is.
No, but people have to connect the dots.
How long you been doing music, Dank? How long you been doing music?
I've been doing music for a long time. I took it seriously in 2016. So yeah.
What got you into music?
My dad did music, and after he died, I just took it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
He was a rapper?
Yeah.
And you were on Deb's house as well.
I was.
How was
On
that?
what?
Deb's
Deb's
house.
house.
How was that?
It was good. You know, it was a learning experience. Yeah, it was a learning experience. It was
Did
okay.
it help or hurt you in any way, like your music?
I mean, I'm doing the same thing I was doing before.
Mhm.
You know, you know, it was okay.
You don't want to say the wrong thing. You don't want to
No,
tell nobody.
it's cool.
Because you had moments on there. That's all.
I
Like,
did.
you were really teary eyed.
Yeah, I was
she
teary-eyed
tough, or was
because-
it, like, what was that about?
Well,
I feel
Deb's,
like-
explain what Deb's house is. 'cause
Yeah, so
people
Deb's House
don't know
is
what
a
it
show where she brings Deb Annie, brings
Waka Flocka's mom.
Waka Flocka's mom.
Mhm.
You know, she's discovered some of the biggest and the best, Nicki Minaj, a bunch of people, but she brings the rap girls on and she tries to coach them through building their careers. And then at the end, there's one that she picks that she focuses on. You didn't make it to the end, but you were on the show.
Yeah.
But one of the clips that I remember seeing going viral from you was when you were breaking down. You were really upset. Talk about that moment. Just what the experience.
So I just feel like I was put in so a lot of people said I was being difficult, but I feel like I was put in a difficult situation. I was in a store, I could fit nothing, you know. So when I finally found something that I could fit, it was like, oh, that's not a boss. Take that off, you know. So I felt some type of way, you know.
Now,
But yeah, I just feel like I was put in a difficult situation, and I was seeing everybody able to fit things, and you know, I'm getting frustrated because I can't find nothing. I don't want to make nobody mad. I want to, you know, look good and stuff like that. So
you want to look good and stuff like that. Now you look at this. She came to the Breakfast Club. She's got her hair wrapped. She's got her nails done. She's dressed up. But you're okay. You talking about your rap career, which I never even knew who she was. So she obviously cares about her appearance, except other things, other obvious things.
that's why I started crying. I was a little frustrated.
You know, just, you walked in and you said the chair was too small, so we had to bring part of the sectional for you to sit in. And you said something. You said, "Now this is what I'm talking about: accommodations." Right?
Yes.
But we live in a world that's not always going to be able to accommodate people. That
But
are
we
plus
should
size.
though. We should because we're not all the same, you know.
Mhm.
No, we shouldn't. No, we shouldn't. That's not how this works. That's not how the world works. That's not how this works. We accommodate, yes, handicapped people. You are blind, you are crippled in any way, shape, or form. They have parking that's put up front for people who have a handicap permit. Yes, we accommodate that. And there were laws that were passed, like the Americans with Disabilities Act, that were garnered for that reason. African Americans in the civil rights movement, they fought for their rights and free. We fought, my ancestors, my family, for our rights and our freedoms, because as taxpayers, people who built this country, we wanted our fair share in some ways, and we didn't get that. You know, I should have the choice to decide whether I want to go to an all-white restaurant or all-black restaurant, wherever I want to spend my money. That was the purpose of the civil rights movement. It was not for going to, and when we say go to a restaurant, we did want to go to a buffet, but that didn't mean eating up every item on the buffet. That didn't mean coming back for forts. You got the choice. And the repulsive thing, I want to finish playing, but I want to make sure I take the video off, because then they'll claim a copyright strike. This is the most repulsive thing she says. I'm trying to figure out what line it is, but it's coming up. Listen
I
carefully.
feel like we should. Like, why not? I feel like a lot of times people think that bigger people, obese, the F word people should just be in the house. When it's like
The
we
F
not.
word?
Yeah, the F
The F word people.
word. I'm
You
not.
heard that you can't say in your house
Yeah.
fat.
You know, like
Oh,
I'm not saying that word.
Yeah,
oh,
we
I
don't
didn't
use
know
that
that.
word in my house
Okay,
either.
I thought you were talking about the gay slur. I'm like, wait, I'm confused.
No.
No.
But I just feel like it should be accommodated. Bigger people should be accommodated, just like we accommodate the LGBT community. All those other communities. I just feel like we outside. If we inside is get up. Why you in the house? You should be doing this. You should be doing that. When we outside, it's like, why you not in the house?
Well, people
Why
would
you out
say,
here?
okay,
Who actually told you that? Because like that's crazy. I don't believe that F people should stay in the house.
That's how it is. We go outside and people looking.
Now she says she doesn't like the F word. She's talking about fat people. I thought it was fungus. That's what she got going. Looks like she's going by her legs. She's got building on mushroom vegetation for days in that nook and cranny. And I don't want look, but she says she has a problem with saying fat, but she has no problem. Listen carefully to how she talks. She has no problem calling somebody skinny. Can you talk bad about somebody that's because they're thin? Now, being thin doesn't mean you're gonna always be happy, of course, but you think that would be appropriate? You saying, oh, I can't say the fat word. I can't say the word fat, or I don't want to say that. That's offensive. But you okay with calling somebody skinny? Does this sound like a sane person?
That's crazy. Like, we getting stared at for what? Because we big.
I know a lot of times, even seeing it like with like how Liz, although she's lost a lot of weight now, how it could be like some of the clothes that the F people wear, with the things hanging out, and y'all try to wear things that the smart people be wearing.
I don't live in a world where I'm the skinny people when the F people. That's not my reality. I am a human being. I am regular. Just because I'm outside with my like I said, I've been doing this a long time. And when I say I've been doing this a long time, I've been putting on for people like me for a long time. I did a naked excuse me. I did a naked photo shoot in 2017. Now all the big girls showing their stomach. They showing skin. The people wasn't doing that. We had porn.
Yeah, well, before that, the Blob had 2 movies. They beat you by 30 years. It beat you by 60 years.
Porn stars doing it, but we didn't have regular people doing it. Not even doing it. I just feel like I'm gonna wear what I want to wear. I'm gonna be cute with it too.
I think part of it is like yourself. You're speaking up about it. A lot of bigger people don't speak up about it, right? Mac, who's one of the producers up here, was a lot bigger. He lost a lot of weight, but I didn't know all the problems that he had until he spoke about it, because it's just something that you don't think about it. Like he said, he would get on a plane and it would be difficult.
Yeah.
He said he would go to the gym. It would be difficult. But those are things that we just don't think about, because I think people don't ever make it a thing. So the fact that this incident happened puts it on people's minds, so you can tell what you have to deal with, because these are some of the things that we don't have to deal with.
Again, the plane situation, that's not my reality. Anytime shout out to Southwest, because they accommodate bigger people. If you need 2 seats, they're gonna give it to you for free. If you pay for 2 seats, they're gonna refund you.
Really?
I don't have that problem. Like,
that's what I'm saying. We don't speak
even
about
like
it.
last time I went to Delta, they said
Delta charge you.
You might need 2 seats, ma'am, but we're gonna let you get on this. I never have a problem with my seating when I get on a plane. Like, I never have problems. Like, when I come into a room,
That depends. First of all, they have to factor in how many people were on that plane and who was sitting next to who. That plane probably was empty. She caught a red eye. How long was that plane? Was that plane going? Nigga, yes, that's what she said. She did a naked potato shoot. She did a potato. She did it. And this remind me of when Al Bundy was wrestling. For those that don't remember, there was an old school show, Married with Children, and Al Bundy, he always dissed fat women. And Al Bundy was he got signed up for a wrestling match and ended up wrestling this big fat woman called Big Bad Mama. He thought it was going to be one of those glow girls and beautiful ring girls. And it was, and Peg Bundy wanted him to wrestle because they lost all the money. And so she said, that's $10,000, Al. And Al Bundy said, it's $1 a pound, Peg. This This she suing for millions from Lyft. It needs to be. Whoever lifts the lawyers up, I hope they get it gets thrown out. I can't really. This is sickening.
Demand my respect, and I'm sweet. I'm a nice person, so I feel like people respect that. I respect you, you respect me. I never like it's never an issue with me. Like the issue be when like the staring or the judging or stuff like that. Then a lot of people will look at me and be like, oh, she eat, she do this, she do that all the time. That's not my reality either. Like
You don't eat?
I do eat,
I'm
but
about
I
to say,
don't
come
just
on,
sit
no.
down. I'm not 600 pounds. Like that's not my life.
Gotcha,
Okay.
gotcha.
You know.
I think it's more so like coming from a health standpoint too. Dang, you feel me? Like have you ever had anybody that like one of your friends maybe that try to get you like help you lose weight or or fear for your life, or like
But do you wanna
need
lose
I
weight?
really
for your
don't.
heart,
Yes, I
or-
do. I really don't. Like
Want to lose weight?
no, I didn't say that.
Oh.
I really don't have friends for real. I have like
Okay.
family and people that's been around me for a long time. Me and my cousins, we go to the gym. I got a gym at my house. I go to the gym. I got workout videos.
You also have your weight specialist here with you. I
Yeah,
heard you lost 80
I
pounds
do.
recently, right?
Yeah, I actually did.
congratulations.
What's up, yo?
But people be forgetting, like, when I was little, I wasn't skinny. My brothers are skinny. I grew up with two skinny
You mean,
brothers.
like when you were younger.
Yes,
When
I
you
was
younger.
never small. I was okay.
How much did you weigh when you came out? You remember
When I did what?
when you came out? As a
As
baby?
a rapper.
No,
Oh.
as a baby. She was
Oh,
born.
baby.
Born.
I don't know, but I had a lot of baby fat on me. Like you see some pictures, I had baby fat, but I was really active.
Mhm.
I did plays, I did singing, and I did cheering, and I did stuff like that.
Yeah, she said she did singing, she did acting. Yeah, she started in Moby Dick. Man, I could be rude. I'm already dealing with stuff. I'm just joking. These are jokes, but real talk. Look, let me ask y'all something. Do y'all think I'm part of the reason why this sister's allowed to walk around like this? I think a lot of and I will say it, there is an element in our community that promotes dysfunction like this from the female side. And I say that with a point for those that dispute it. Do y'all think Dave Bunce, women are flocking into his IG? You think women would say the same thing to him? Biggie was big, but Biggie was also tall. This sister is barely 5'5". That's a lot on the heart. And look, I'm not talking about her like I'm perfect and like I got a six pack. I don't. I got a little keg. But when I've had my health issues myself, but when I was told by my doctors what I had, I started to take it more seriously. I walk almost every day. I watch what I eat. It's okay. I eat stuff from time to time, but I don't make it a daily occurrence. Walking is great. Walking a mile can help you. It lowers blood sugar, gets your blood pumping. It's good for your cholesterol. Those are things that you should consider doing. But this is somebody, and I'm glad people are speaking up about it because this is something they're trying to force you to accept this as normal. We're glorifying dysfunction. That's why I'm really talking about this tonight, because they want to glorify dysfunction and delusion with a lot of stuff that's going on. We have Chris Rock did an excellent comedy special. That was a perfect title, Selective Outrage. We have a society mad at Elon Musk. Not defending Elon Musk because I think he's a rich a-hole, but we get mad at Elon Musk. But Biden had a Secretary of Health who was part of that rainbow community, a tranny who wants to talk about health, and you had a person there in an executive position. You had on the U.S. embassies the rainbow flags, which by law, federal law, that violated federal law because under the United States Code, you're only supposed to have a national flag present. I wouldn't expect the Marcus Garvey flag, the red, black, and green, on a U.S. embassy. Why is that pushed? You were mad at Bobby Kennedy Jr. got confirmed, by the way. But you had, and shout out to my man Willie Lynch, because Willie was talking about this on his platform. Y'all Negroes get mad at the wrong thing. We getting mad at the wrong thing. So this was your Secretary of Health. Just a few months ago, this was the Secretary of Health. But we mad at all of this selective outrage. Nah, back on. Yeah, I hope that young lady. I hope Dane DeMoss, and she seems like a sweetheart. I'll give her that. But I hope she really fixes her life. I really hope she gets stuff together, because having all that way is real talk. It's not healthy. That's not healthy for someone. And so, hold up. Shout out to my family on Rumble. We got 9 views in there. I'm just on Rumble right now. What's going on, fam? How's everybody on X doing? I just want to make sure we got live here. Everybody sees this. Rumble X Jibu2786. Yeah, thank DeMoss. Thank DeMoss. It's $1 a pound, pig. So yeah, my man Willie Lynch, fellow comedian, shout out to him. Yeah, he wrote this, and I listened to it. It's funny as hell. He's right. He said everything folks are saying about the suspected white supremacist Elon Musk is completely justified. But how come y'all ain't say nothing when Biden appointed Mrs. Testicles as the Assistant Secretary of Health? Y'all got selective outrage, or y'all just only allowed to criticize one political party, or y'all into chitlins? Just be quiet, man. This man, Mrs. Dick Tracy. Yeah, man. It's funny. No, but he's got a point. We have selective outrage with stuff. We have people that get mad, especially since Trump got elected. Everybody's mad. Oh, he got elected. And for years on end, you've had people, you've had racists, you have white supremacists, you have it everywhere. Nobody has said anything except when it's your political party. Was your political party, you're cool with it. If it's not your political party, you get angry, you're upset, you're raising hell. You're quitting your job. You're cursing out anybody that voted or disagreed with you. And that's dangerous. That's the dangerous part with this stuff. And right now, I just want to say, so right now, as we go through that, we're learning like Trump, a lot of his confirmations have actually gone through. I saw Tulsi Gabbard. Her stuff went through. She got Tulsi Gabbard was confirmed. I believe we had Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He was confirmed as this Trump's health secretary. So he was sworn in. So a lot of his stuff is moving, of course, because he has the people in there who are going to support him to move his stuff going. I mean, and he's loyal to the people that support him. He's supporting the people. This is what presidents do, because everybody talks about the lack of diversity and stuff. The Democrats, and I will say this. Now, I like diversity is good for a reason. And I like some things, but the Democrats, let's be honest, and I'm just moving on, they come off like a bunch of crybabies a lot. Even freaking Van Jones said this a few years ago when the Dems lost and the Democrats had lost some elections. This was back in 2022 or 2021. I can't remember exactly. They lost control of key congressional seats. And he even said, we're complaining too much. Where? We ain't get this. We ain't get that. It's just a pain in the ass. A lot of people have noticed it. A lot of people are saying it. They're frustrated. They're tired. And so yeah, that lady, I'm sure she would be part of that too. That's what this generation is. And so as it relates to Trump's appointments now and what's happened, people are, of course, we see Democrats complaining about it, what's it going to be. None of these people are doing anything for us. None. Why get angry and get upset? You talking about war's coming. War is already here. And speaking of wars, how many of y'all saw this video? I was on X yesterday and I saw this. Patrick Mahomes, this was during the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes' father, as Fanny Sharp would say, he was about to throw hands on John Rocker. It would have been on site if I had seen John Rocker. He called me the N-word a few years ago, Skip. He called me an N-word. He called me an N-word banana boy. Because I like bananas and women. He called me this. I like bananas and booty holes, Skip. And he assaulted me. He made me cry the blues. I couldn't deal with Skip. But Patrick Mahomes and Patrick Mahomes' father got into a throwdown. We're about to get into it, a throwdown with John Rocker. John Rocker, if anybody remembers, was a real racist is a real racist. John Rocker was a guy who 2 years ago, this was back in 1999, he did an interview out with with the Sports Illustrated, and he was a outfielder, I think, for the New York Yankees. That's what it was. So I remember this video, that interview, actually, when I was a kid, when that went viral. That when I say go viral, that was what it meant at the time. Going viral when an article came out very controversial and it made the news. That was the closest it was going to get viral. The internet wasn't popping like that. But this happened in my hometown of New Orleans. So Patrick Mahomes' dad, of course, he's in town for the Super Bowl. A lot of celebrities. The Super Bowl just happened. And a lot of people were in town for the Super Bowl. Meg Thee Stallion, they had Taylor Swift. They had, of course, to see her boyfriend who lost, Paul McCartney, a bunch of people in town, New Orleans. Kevin Hart, bunch. And so this happened. So Pat Mahomes, this was outside. This definitely on Burger. They were about to sit down. Now Pat Mahomes, y'all know Mahomes is a baseball guy. So he's in baseball, so I know he's ran into John Rocker before. But this happened here. So watch what happens in this video. So they had some words. So how many of y'all saw this? Oh. Oh shit. Oh shit. He comes up to that one shaky man. Oh, that said not oh shit. Oh shit. Yeah. But John Rocker was racist. John Rocker, Mahomes' dad got restrained. Yeah, but my homeboy was gonna put it on him, Skip. My homeboy senior, he was gonna give him the blues. Yeah, John Rocker, I remember that incident. That was in in the 90s when he gave that interview that went viral. And now his dad, yeah, he's been arrested before on DWI charges multiple times. And he's had stuff. But I stand with him on this. He stood on business. You know, I'm willing to bet Rocker hasn't changed his stripes. Right. He only played, and he didn't last that long in the MLB. From 1998, you made your debut in 1998, and your last appearance was in 2003. Right. And this is when he made those remarks about New York City. And he was talking about Asians and Koreans and Vietnamese and homosexuals. Yeah. Spanish people. Yeah, he always said some racist stuff. So he played with the, you know what? I apologize. I said he played in New York. He didn't play in New York. He played for the Braves. I'm sorry. He played for the Atlanta Braves at the time. And he played, you saw he changed teams. Okay, I remember this. So Braves, New York, Yankees, whatever. I don't follow baseball, but I remember this story because it went, in our day, it went viral. They were talking about it in the 90s. So I remember when that came out. What's going on, DeAndre? Yeah. But Mahomes is going to let him have it. And he called one of his teammates a monkey. He's from Curacao. Curacao. He's Curacan. Yeah. I remember it. I didn't remember this story, but this doesn't surprise me. And so, yeah, yeah, that was funny. Pat Mahomes would have gone on there. So Keaton Rourke said that's all the Breakfast Club does. He's talking about our topic earlier, traffic in. That's all the Breakfast Club goons, traffic in, gossip, lies, dysfunction, and controversy. Yeah, they ain't shit. I don't listen to them anymore. In fact, I think haven't their views fell down in recent years? Remember when Charlemagne and DJ Envy, he had a castmate of DJ Envy's nuts ball sack. Yeah, that was nuts. Said, what do I think of the Super Bowl halftime? I did a video on it Tuesday, what I thought about it. And I shared my views. I thought I was really indifferent to the whole Super Bowl anyway. I did like the halftime show. I thought Kendrick Lamar did a good job, but I didn't think it was this most revolutionary thing that has ever happened in Black history. That I don't believe. That's not revolution. That's entertainment. He did some things symbolically, yes. Having Uncle Sam, by having the Samuel Jackson acting it. I like that part. I thought it was funny having Serena crip walk into They Not Like Us to her a diss track about her ex-boyfriend. That's funny. Stephen Head Smith talking about he would have divorced her if that was there. Man, your ass ain't even been married. Like you would have had a chance with Serena. Serena was gone with that pace. Serena picked that Paisley white man over you. She got milky white. She got creamy white when you put milk in a pot and boiled it. That's how white that man is, her husband. So Stephen A. Smith is in hot water over that. I saw that. That won't happen. Well, I thought the performance, yeah. Well, the reason why is because Kendrick was the first. He's the first solo rapper. Solo meaning he was the first solo rapper to get a deal for a Super Bowl halftime. But the problem with that, and I say that is that first of all, Dr. Dre got it a couple of years ago. Dr. Dre got it when the Super Bowl was in Los Angeles. Now Dr. Dre wasn't alone because Snoop Dogg was there with him, and he brought out everybody from the West Coast, all the West Coast rappers, because it was the West Coast Super Bowl basically. So I guess that's why they said he's the first solo, which he is. But he did have SZA on that, DJ Mustard, and of course, a lot of people in California. I know everybody who is from California, they praised it because that's where he's from. And like I said, I like Kendrick. I like Kendrick Lamar. I do, yeah. And having the red, white, and blue as Black people, and of course, watching white people lose their minds over that. They couldn't identify with it. They were crying about it. I mean, look, the Super Bowl halftime show is only about 33 years old, 32 years old. So it's still fairly young. And that started because of Michael Jackson and really In Living Color. And Living Color is responsible for the Super Bowl halftime show. and I told that story. So go back and watch from Wednesday. I'm sorry, from Tuesday. Our show, if you'd like, DeAndre, just watch the replay of that, and you'll learn some stuff. I talked in depth about it, bro. So the other thing I want to talk about, something that caught my attention, the final thing is what happened out in Fulton County, Georgia. So you have this black family who supposedly owns 600 acres of land that they said that's been passed down for over 100 years. And a judge, his name is Craig Schwall, ruled in favor of a railroad company that could seize their land. So I want to play this video courtesy of X.
There's a special rock that we like to sit on.
You said the dude from Goonies was tripping. Oh, Robert Davi, yeah, that's the guy from he played the villain in License to Kill, Sanchez.
Blaine's enslaved ancestors lived and worked on this Sparta land. Now, he and his wife own the very property. The family among the less than 2% of Black farmers nationwide.
My father farmed this land almost all of his life. My grandfather farmed it most of his life. He bought it back in the 1920s. During that time, he raised cotton, corn, peas, all kinds of vegetables. But it's still in the Smith family. Not one piece of it has gotten away.
Until this September. State leaders decided parts of the Sparta land are no longer theirs.
It's my property. You know, you don't have the right to take.
But a private company does have the right to take it, according to the unanimous vote from the Georgia Public Service Commission. The agency, comprised of 5 elected officials, oversees eminent domain. Eminent domain, the right of a government or its agent to appropriate private property for public use with payment of compensation. In Georgia, the process starts by first condemning the site. The Georgia PSC members agreed private company Sandersville Railroad could legally condemn 9 properties in Sparta, including parts of the Smiths, for the company's Hanson Spur project, a 4.5-mile spur connecting raw material producers to the CSX rail line in Hancock County, essentially hauling rocks that be used to build concrete. The company argues the train project will improve infrastructure, but the Smiths feel railroaded.
If you listen to the railroad folks, they say you're keeping your land. We're just taking a little piece of it. To me, we've got somebody who's coming through it like they are. They're devaluing it. They're defacing it. They're creating hazards through it.
They are just one of at least a dozen local eminent domain cases in recent years, from Atlanta to Newton County. Current statistics are few and fragmented, but Atlanta News First Investigates found nationwide data. A 2007 study revealed when eminent domain was used for private development, it most often impacted areas where more than half of the community was made up of people of color. Nearly half of the area's population sat below the poverty line. In the city of Sparta, where the developers are building the railroad, census records show 51% of residents live in poverty. The median income at $22,000.
We're here in a county that really needs new opportunities, new job growth, new tax base.
The railroad company president, Ben Charbutton.
Have an annual impact of $1.5 million.
That could make sense for a struggling town. It's how the company has pitched the project to residents. However, Georgia law states economic development is not a justifiable reason to take property.
It really is not supposed to be factored into an eminent domain case.
Well, they go hand in hand. I talk about jobs because that's what really matters to folks.
Charbutton says the train would only travel 1 round trip per day, 5 days a week during daylight hours.
1 round trip per day during daylight hours. Did I hear that correctly?
I talk about jobs because that's what really matters to folks.
Tarbutton says the train would only travel one round trip per day, 5 days a week during daylight hours, that it would not be a nuisance to landowners.
They feel like you guys are robbing them of their family legacy, of their family land.
Well, I understand that, and it's the condemnation process is a last resort. We have had multiple conversations with the landowners.
While several other property owners made deals with the company, 3 families are holding out, including the Smiths, in part over fears if they give up land now, the company could take even more.
Would you guys come back and take more land?
Well, I don't know exactly who you're talking to, but everyone I've dealt with that's a landowner, we've had very constructive dialogue.
So would you take more land if you needed it?
No, we're very clear.
A claim the Smiths don't believe.
I would not.
Because when they come and take that property, it's gone forever.
It's why the Institute for Justice now represents the families against the railroad.
The railroad's position is just that I'm a railroad. Obviously, I'm going to benefit you, and that's just not enough.
The attorney filed this appeal in Fulton County Superior Court, alleging the PSC improperly granted Sandersville's petition that the project is not economically feasible and may not be a legitimate public use.
What the railroad has shown is that this track, if it even comes about, is going to promote the profits and the cost reductions for a couple of private companies, and that's all.
The Institute for Justice is using this as a money-making venture for themselves.
Hundreds of acres for 100 years and one single lineage. Altering it in any way is a price of progress that's just too high for the Smiths.
I go back to what my father said, keep the land. The land gives you respect, gives you respectability. Everybody around here knows that this is the Smith land down here.
So what they talk about, so when you're talking about eminent domain, basically some states, like in Louisiana, we say expropriation instead of exercise of eminent domain prowess. So condemnation is used to describe the act of the formal act of exercising the power to transfer the title or some lesser interest in the subject property. So like when you condemn a building that's dilapidated beyond building code, some city ordinances will allow for not only the demolition of that said building, but they can put it up for juridical sale if nobody buys it. They did some of that during, sometime after Katrina with the houses. So what happens is it's a compulsory acquisition. This is eminent domain. This is the definition of that here. I want everybody to take a look. I have it on Wikipedia just so everyone understands. Eminent domain means that it's basically an acquisition of private property in favor of public use. So it doesn't include the power to take and transfer ownership of private property from one property owner to another or private property owner without a valid public purpose. Now, here in the United States, under what's called the Fifth Amendment, there is something known as the Takings Clause that usually is that is in effect under the Fifth Amendment, which means, I want to pull it up here. If private property is taken, as you know, this is in the Bill of Rights, for everyone it's effective. Of course, the fifth is associated with the right against self-incrimination and so forth. It also says, it's also known for the Takings Clause, which says that no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. That's a due process clause. But also it says, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. So which means that the government cannot take your property private property without paying you for it. And they can do it if it's for a public use, only if there is just compensation for it. And what is just compensation is the question everybody often asks. So just compensation is for takings by government. The court has repeatedly held, and this is a case called United States versus 50 acres of land, that just compensation normally is to be measured by the market value of the property at the time of the taking, contemporaneously paid in money. Deviation, now the Supreme Court previously said deviation from this measure of just compensation has been required only when market value has been too difficult to find and or when its application would result in manifest injustice to owner or public. So what you have here, basically, it does allow for the government to take private property that is supposed to be used for the public, but they must compensate the owners for it. Now, I can tell you this much. If they're building a railroad right there, that the guy who is representing the company, if you listen carefully to what he says they're not going to take anymore. Don't believe that for a second. They are not just building a railroad there for transportation. Because with transportation, there also has to be a stop. There also has to be places for fuel, places for gas, places for food that's going to come and run around along these areas, along these tracks. And it's not just going to be right there. It is not just going to be the railroad that passes through there. He says it's not there. He said no. But here's the thing, and he may not even, he's saying that now. Let's say he's telling the truth. Let's say he gets fired from that job and he's no longer with the company. He can't say, I lied, because he's no longer with the company. The company, if they wanted to, could decide, we would like to take more. And then the property value, especially depending on how these trains run. Now, you heard him say it's only going to be during the day. But what if their schedule changes? I have a copy of the order that was signed by this judge. Greg L. Schwal Sr. in Fulton County Superior Court. And what he essentially said, he approved the commission's order granting Sandersville the right to acquire real estate by condemnation. So they condemned this property that has been owned by the Smith family. Now, I don't know how much the Smiths or the other families, they said some of the families are working with them. I don't know what the offer is or what it is, how much they offered. I think there's a sentimental value that's associated with the Smith family, and they even said it. They don't want to sell it. They want to be able to pass it down to generation to generation. This is the Black Yellowstone. This is what Kevin Costner was doing in that TV series Yellowstone, when they tried to take his land. And he had to fight because they were going to develop an airport near his farm. And not to mention develop an airport, they wanted to also, if I'm not mistaken, he had to fight they wanted to set up a bunch of, I think, malls at around his house. That was going to change. Also, there was going to be some type of hotel that was going to be set up. So he saw his property value was going to decrease. And the land that they had in the TV series Yellowstone, of course, he wanted to preserve it as a ranch due to its beauty and how it was set up. Now, I ain't gonna lie, Yellowstone, especially the last season, the way it ended without Kevin Costner, it sucked. But I digress. I'm gonna put a copy of the order here. So you had several plaintiffs: Robert Garrett Sr., Sarah Garrett, William Smith and Helen Smith, Marvin Smith, Patricia Smith, Joe Bradford Reed, Kathy Reed, Leo John Briggs, Georgia Ann Briggs, Sally Wells, Donna Garrett, Vern Hollis, Harris Garrett, Thomas Lee, and No Railroad in Our Community Coalition versus the Sandersville Railroad Company and the Georgia Public Service Commission. So they brought this in court to stop it, and the commission had granted essentially Sandersville's amended petition for approval to acquire real estate by condemnation. They condemned this land. This is what they did, to put a railroad through. And this judge, from what I'm reading, and I'm only skimming through it because I just pulled it up, Judge Small went ahead and granted the respondents' amended petition. That is what happened with this case here. I put the link in the chat so everybody can see it and read it on their own time. But he says, although the route for rights of way are generally left to the best judgment of the condemning authority, Sandersville nonetheless presented evidence that the spur is the best route, considering numerous constraints such as the surrounding water courses, regulated wetlands and floodplains, a neighboring environmental conservation area, resident feedback, existing residential structures, the Georgia Power Company transmission lines, the Verizon wireless cell tower, and American Railway Engineering and Maintenance of Way Association design guidelines. Croy Engineering consulted an environmental expert to minimize impact on regulated wetlands, resources, potential archaeological resource sites, and potential habitats for threatened and endangered species. He goes on further, saying that at a meeting in Sparta and Sandersville, and Croy Engineering adjusted the route based on public comments received at the meeting. The hearing officer acknowledged, quote, no serious alternatives other than simply not building the Harrison Spur were presented in this case. Now, I see some similarities with this to what happened in the 50s and 60s. And those that don't know, of course, back in the 50s and 60s, you had the development, well, it was really the 50s, but when it started, Eisenhower, the former president, Dwight E. Eisenhower, he helped usher in the interstate system in the United States. The main interstate system here in Louisiana, our interstate systems we have, of course, is I-55, I-59 that run north and south, and of course the I-10 and the I-12, which run east and west. Those are the main ones. They also have the I-20. That's how you get into Dallas if you're coming from Shreveport, things of that nature. So I bring this up for a reason. I'm bringing this all up for a very important reason. We're seeing essentially we saw the destruction of black neighborhoods in New Orleans. If you go down Broad in New Orleans, if you're here, I don't know if anybody may notice. If you may know, that's my father. He's gonna keep calling me. Anybody knows if you ever come to New Orleans and you look under the I-10 on Broad, you notice we have murals and paintings on the columns of, artists like Fats Domino, Alvin Toussaint, Ernie Cato, and others. But you also will see trees there. That's because in those that area, those neighborhoods, those used to be houses. Those were neighborhoods there. Damn, I'm doing a live stream. Yeah, okay. Uh-huh. Bye. It's on Claiborne. Yeah. On Claiborne Avenue. Like Claiborne and well, I said Broad. I'm sorry. What my head is where's my head? There is Broad too. Yeah. North Broad, North Broad. Yeah. That area underneath there, under Claiborne. Yeah. By S, yeah. Well, Broad. Yeah. Well, that Broad runs that way, North Broad. Yeah. They call it the Claiborne Avenue Bridge. All of that connects, right? And Esplanade, that area, Governor Nichols, BN, yeah, all of that connects there. I meant Claiborne. No, it's Claiborne Avenue. I'm sorry. North Claiborne. Broad is on the other side, right, by Zulu and so forth. But the opposite side of that, yeah, under Claiborne Bridge, they had the trees, the black-owned businesses as well. That whole neighborhood, that area changed, right? And so when the interstate system was put in, they put those murals up. That's the point of what I was saying, to commemorate those areas, those businesses that are no longer there. And I think the only thing that remained, one of the few, there were still some black-owned businesses that stayed, of course, but it changed. It changed. And the families, obviously, they're fearful that if they give this land up, they'll lose their homes, possibly. That might be a possibility if with eminent domain. If you have a railroad system set up, and I guess depending how far the railroad system is set up from the house, they're saying it's only going to run through the day. But what if that changes? What if they want to request, can we run these at night now? Now you got a train running at night and blowing horns and so forth. It wakes people up. It causes a nuisance. And he's saying it's going to run only 5 days, 5 times in a weekday, running back and forth in the middle of the day. Trains can break down. Now, I'm not against development. I'm not. I'm for development in our areas. I'm not against improvements. If it's going to benefit society, if it's going to benefit everybody, sure. But I guess we have to ask the question, who are the ones that are benefiting? Is it the people that have been there for years, or is it the greedy corporations? And it seems more and more when you have money, the corporations are who's winning these things in these cases. And this judge, he went along agreeing with the railroad company and the commission. So I'm interested in learning a little bit more about this case. I'm interested in learning a little bit more about it, what this school, what this church has, or what this family is doing to fight. And what say you, family? What do y'all think? We'll keep monitoring it. Yeah, well, I mean, they can keep fighting, but for how long? I wonder if they have, and they didn't indicate this. I'm sure they have kids, but where their kids are with that. Yeah, the Charbonnets, that's been around. Yeah, that's been around for years. Circle K, although they sold Circle K. Right. Well, the thing with Katrina, and you read my book, which is something you all could pick up. Katrina, Eyes Have Not Seen, Ears Have Not Heard. The thing about all of that is New Orleans, when that happened, it basically became a giant land grab for everything. And mass gentrification is happening, especially now with this new Jazzland that's going to, well, not Jazzland, it's going to be called Bayou Phoenix, but Jazzland, they're tearing down the former amusement park there. I've learned a lot of stuff about it, I won't say, but that's happening. That's why I tell people in New Orleans East, don't sell your homes, don't do anything. I mean, right now, New Orleans East is going to come back, but what is it going to come back to? I'm seeing other people in the neighborhoods who don't look like me. I'm seeing stuff for the first time, like homelessness. We have that problem here, people begging in the streets. Businesses is closed. The Dollar Generals that used to be here in Family Dollars, they've closed up. Yeah, it's going to affect everybody. So we'll keep monitoring it. I hope the family fights and gets something out of it. Or, if they can keep their land, fine. But I try and get as much money as if they did sell it. Let's just say they did. I don't have a problem with them as long as they got a price that's going to guarantee their grandchildren's future. And they're going to pass that down into their great-grandchildren's future. Generational wealth. What are they offering? But anyway, guys, I've been in here for a long time. It's almost 11 o'clock, so we're going to wrap this thing up. I wasn't even thinking I was going to be on this long, but you guys be safe and be blessed. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to all the lovely ladies. And I will see you all in the next one. Make sure you subscribe to Rumble. Go to Random Topics, ladies and gentlemen, on Rumble. If you are watching there, subscribe. I will see you all in the next one. Be one, be safe, and be blessed. I'll holla. Peace. Whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today. But if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on through our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It's channel GBoot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace.